Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big ideas. And today we are tackling a monster of a book, James Clear's Atomic Habits. You've probably heard of it, right? It's all about how these tiny, almost invisible changes can lead to absolutely remarkable results. All right, let's kick things off with something I think we've all felt. You set this huge, life-changing goal, and then, a few weeks later, you're right back where you started. Sound familiar? Yeah, we've all been there. So, have you ever set one of those ambitious New Year's resolutions only to see it fizzle out by February? Well, here's the good news. You're not alone. And the book argues that the problem isn't you. It's not your motivation or your willpower. It's the whole approach. We're taught to go big or go home, right? To make these massive, earth-shattering changes. But that all-or-nothing thinking, it's a recipe for burnout. And here's the real kicker. Winners and losers, they often have the exact same goals. I mean, think about it. The goal might be this huge thing, like running a marathon, but the goal itself isn't what makes the difference. What really separates people is their system. It's not about the marathon. It's about the tiny, almost boring action of just putting on your running shoes after work every single day. Okay, so if these huge goals are actually part of the problem, then what's the solution? Well, it's all about the power of tiny gains. And there's one story from the book that illustrates this perfectly. Get this. For about 100 years, British cycling was, well, they were a joke. I mean, seriously. They had won Olympic gold medal since 1908, 0 Tour de France wins. Their performance was so bad that top bike brands wouldn't even sell them gear because they thought it would make them look bad. But then, everything changed when they hired a guy named Dave Brailsford. Now, Brailsford had this strategy that sounds simple, but it was totally revolutionary. He called it the aggregation of marginal gains. The whole idea? Find a 1% improvement in everything you do. And I mean everything. They redesigned bike seats for better comfort. They tested massage gels to see which one helped muscles recover faster. They even hired a surgeon to teach the team how to wash their hands properly to avoid getting sick. It's crazy, right? But these little things started to add up. So why don't we all do this? Well, here's the problem, and it's a big one. These tiny changes feel completely useless at first. We expect our progress to be a straight line, going up and up. But that's not how it works. In reality, the most powerful outcomes are delayed. And that creates what the book calls the valley of disappointment. It's that frustrating period where you're putting in the work, but you're not seeing the results. And you know what? That's where most of us quit. But if you can just push through that valley, something incredible happens. Your habits start to compound. It's like this great quote from Jacob Riis about a stonecutter. He hammers away at a rock maybe 100 times and nothing happens, not even a crack. But then, on the 101st blow, the rock splits in two. And you know it wasn't that last hit that did it, right? It was all the hits that came before. That, right there, is the power of atomic habits. Okay, that all sounds great, but how do we actually do it? How do we build these 1% improvements and, more importantly, stick with them long enough to see the results? Well, thankfully, the book lays out a super simple 4-step framework that anyone can use. And here it is. This is the heart of the whole system, the 4 laws of behavior change. To build a good habit, you need to make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. That's it. And if you want to break a bad habit, you just flip it on its head. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. Simple, right? So let's dive into these 4 laws and see how we can put them into practice with some really clever, simple techniques. All right, law number 1, make it obvious. This is all about the cues in your environment. Check out this example from a hospital cafeteria. They wanted people to drink more water. So what did they do? Did they put up posters, run a campaign? Nope. They just added water stations all over the place. And bam, without saying a single word, water sales jumped by almost 26%. It's that simple. Next up, law 2, make it attractive. Our brains are basically reward-seeking missiles. We are wired to chase after things that feel good. You know, that little hit of dopamine? That's what drives us. So the trick here is to connect a habit you want to build with something you already enjoy doing. Then we have law 3, make it easy. This one is my favorite. It's called the 2-minute rule. The idea is that any new habit should take less than 2 minutes to do. So read more becomes read 1 page. Do yoga becomes roll out my yoga mat. The point isn't to achieve the big goal right away. The point is to master the art of just showing up. Make it so easy you can't say no. And finally, law 4, make it satisfying. Our brains love immediate gratification. And a great way to do this is with something called the paperclip strategy. There was this young banker who started each day with 2 jars on his desk. One was filled with 120 paper clips, the other was empty. Every time he made a sales call, he'd move one paper clip over. That simple visual progress gave him a little jolt of satisfaction that made him want to do it again and again and again. Okay, so these laws and tricks are awesome. They're super practical. But the book takes it one step deeper. And honestly, this next idea is where the real, lasting change happens. This might just be the most powerful idea in the whole book. It's this: every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. You see, true behavior change isn't about the outcome. It's about your identity. The goal isn't to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal isn't to write a book. It's to become a writer. So let's look at the difference here. Instead of saying, I want to stop biting my nails, which is an outcome, you shift your focus to identity. I am the type of person who takes pride in my appearance. See the difference? Every time you choose not to bite your nails, you're not just resisting a bad habit, you're casting a vote for that new identity. So, let's wrap this all up. It turns out that real, lasting change doesn't come from some massive, heroic effort. It comes from something much smaller, a tiny, consistent shift, a single atomic habit. The journey to wherever you want to go really does start with one small step. So the real question isn't what you want to achieve. The question is, who do you want to become? And what's the one tiny thing you can do today to cast a vote for that person? The most important part is just to start, no matter how small.